Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Whatever the I Want podcast, where I, your host, Gaby, gets to talk about whatever the I want. And today's episode is going to be about what to do during a breakup. So I've experienced quite a bit of breakups during my life, and I think I've definitely allowed them to take over how I feel. And I also think that has happened in relationships where I just completely focus all my attention onto my partner, onto the house, onto what needs to be done. And I completely neglect myself, my hobbies, my wants, my needs, my desires for the sake of that person. And then you start to resent them because you're like, well, I'm doing this for you. And they're like, well, I didn't ask you to do that. And then it's just like blah, 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 like back and forth. And I learned after one breakup just to do what you want to do. While you're single, whether or not you're actively looking for a relationship, you should be dating yourself. You should be getting to know yourself. Even if you are deciding to go on dates with people, those dates don't have to lead to something. Those dates can teach you something about yourself. Okay, you go ice skating for the first time with somebody. Okay, you learn that you didn't like it. Well, at least you learned that from that date. Okay, well, maybe you go try Turkish food for the first time, and then you're like, oh, this is actually really yummy. This might actually be my favorite type of food. Like, you can do those things by yourself too, you know? You don't have to be going on dates to learn about yourself. You can actively be dating yourself. You can go to the movies alone. You can go out to eat alone. You can go to the library by yourself. I've slowly started doing these things within the past couple of years, and I've started to realize wow, I really enjoy my own company. I really enjoy my thoughts. Yeah, you might feel a little bit awkward at first whenever you're getting the hang of it, but you really start to realize I don't care what anybody says. I am proud of myself for going to the gym by myself and not waiting for my gym buddy. I am my own priority, and you should always be your own priority. And it's so hard whenever you're in a relationship, whenever you have kids, to put yourself first. And I completely understand why, but do not allow those other identities to replace your own self-identity. Sure, you are a mom. Sure, you are a teacher. Sure, you are a wife, but you're also so much more than that. You are your own person, and you get to wake up and decide who you want to be. And you get to decide what you want to do. And sure, having kids and having a partner can influence these things, but you need to be making time for yourself. Because if you do not do that, nobody else will do it. So that's why I think waking up early is fantastic. If you want to wake up 30 minutes before the kids get up or 30 minutes before your day is actually supposed to start, spend that time journaling, spend that time meditating, doing yoga, making your morning coffee, sitting in silence, and you just get to appreciate the house at peace before everybody else wakes up. Those are golden moments. Those are moments that you are never going to regret because you're actually spending time by yourself. I think you should also be planning dates for yourself. If you want to go to a pottery class and your best friend doesn't want to go, you don't need them to go do those things. You don't need your mom to go with you to go shopping. You don't need your sister to go with you to get your nails done. You can do these things alone. And I think that this is the perfect time for you to learn another language, for you to try a bunch of different hobbies, for you to try different foods, and for you to just spend time with yourself. What are some things that you love about yourself? Write them down. What are some things that you feel like you can work on? You should spend that time reflecting. What are things that I loved about my previous relationships that I look for in another partner? What are some things that I hated? What are some things that I would want to change? And I think therapy is a great tool for this. I think if you have trouble reflecting on your own, or maybe you just feel weird talking to yourself or, journaling, sometimes these things aren't for everybody. I highly, highly recommend finding a therapist that's right for you. And when it comes to therapy, it's not a one size fits all. It is almost like dating, you have to try this therapist here. Do I like what they have to say? Do I feel like they're listening to me? Do I feel like I can relate to them? whenever I was first finding my therapist, I was very specific about what I wanted. You can literally just go online and pick, do you want a person of color? What do you like for them to focus on? Do you want for them to be religious or not religious, etc.? And like for me, I wanted a woman. I feel like a woman could understand me or my life experience a little bit more. I also decided I wanted a woman of color because I felt like they would have somewhat of a similar life experience to me. I feel like a white man telling me about my relationships, it's just like it would go through one ear and out the other. So I was like, who would I be receptive to listening to? And so, I even looked at all their pictures and I'm like, who do I feel like looks easy for me to open up to? So, and say that didn't work out, I would have found another therapist. I would have tried that one for maybe like a session, maybe 3 max. And then I would be like, okay, let's evaluate this. Do I like this person? Do I like our conversations? Do I feel like I'm getting anywhere? Or no, do I feel like I'm stumped? Do I feel like this person's hard for me to open up to? What am I lacking on? Am I the problem? Like I would have to ask myself those questions. But I know that, February is the month of love, and, it's really easy to look around and to be like, oh, look at all these couples, look at what they have. Oh, I wish I had this. I wish I was 20 years into a marriage, whatever. But like, as much as those things can look easy, we all know that relationships are work. We all know that they take compromise, that they take difficult conversations, that they take sacrifice. So while you don't have to be doing that, because if you are single, you are able to really focus on yourself. I think that that's also a great time to dive deep into your career, to have things that you can focus on and to have hobbies. Like, it's so easy to just sit there and to just scroll. And I still, while crocheting, will have a movie up and I will have to pause it because I'm like, how many stitches am I into this? Or like I'll be having trouble reading a pattern and I will have to pause it. But it is okay to also like watch things while you are creating. I do think that that makes it also fun, to listen to music while you're knitting. I think that it's just like you get into the zone, I also think that reading is something that's super fun whenever you're going through a breakup, because it allows you to escape for a little bit, even if it's for like 30 minutes. At least for me during fantasy books, like I can escape for hours. Like I will literally stay up and like not want to go to bed because the books are that good. So I think that that is something fantastic to do. I also think it's okay to block your ex. I think that trying to be friends with your ex immediately after breaking up is like the worst idea that you could ever have. You really need to spend time alone and reflecting on the relationship and realizing what worked and what didn't work and why you aren't together. It is a harsh thing to accept. Your mind and your brain and, your heart are like, what do? I really want to reach out to this person. And a lot of times it's because it's a habit. It's not necessarily because it's what's right. It's what you should be doing. So I would block your ex, unfollow. Just don't text them. Like if you want to write in your notes app, I've done that before, written in my notes app every single time I wanted to reach out, and like just send a text to myself, because what good does it do? And I think that like after you spend some time reflecting, even if it's like an entire month, right? Like spend an entire month like not reaching out to that person. And if they reach out to you, or if you finally decide like, wait, I want to try this again, that's fine. That's fine. But at least you spent some time focusing on you. I also think that after a breakup, this is your time to glow up. This is your time to get that revenge body, to be going to the gym, to try a new haircut. I know some people are going to be like, Gabby, why are you telling me to get bangs? And it's like, I'm not telling you to get bangs, but if you want to get bangs, get bangs. This is a time to experiment with who you are, with your style. This is a time to rebrand, because like I said, like we lose ourselves in relationships and we allow these other people to define us. But it's like, who do I want to be? I get to decide who I want to be. I want to have red hair. I want to have lots of piercings, or, I've dated people that have told me not to do things. So then this is like the time to be like, yeah, well, fuck you. I'm going to do whatever I want anyways, which honestly, you kind of should be doing. Like, don't let your partner tell you like, no, you can't cut your hair. I'll break up if you cut your hair. Like, if you have somebody who says that to you, like, you should not be with that person's trying to control you, and they can have preferences. It's perfectly fine, but they should be completely supportive of you and your decision making. I also think during a breakup, it is perfectly fine to cry. It is okay to cry. And I encourage you to cry. I encourage you to process things, and try not to distract yourself. It's very easy to distract yourself, but I think that the best thing that you can do is spend time processing your feelings and figuring out what were your triggers, what were some things that really hurt you, what were some things that were like non-negotiables for you and the relationship, and that will continue to carry on for future relationships. This is also your time to focus on relationships with friends or family, because whenever we are in relationships, we tend to neglect the people around us. So this is your time to hang out with your girlfriends, to reach out to friends that you haven't talked to in a long time, to spend extra time with your family. They know and understand what you're going through. And so they're there to listen to you. They're there to hold your hand, and they're there to distract you and to help you appreciate life. Because I definitely think that after you going through a breakup, you start to lose an appreciation for things. You know, the world turns a little black and gray because that person was your color. At least that's how it's been for me. And so it's important to find yourself again, because you were never lost. You just suppressed who you were and your feelings, and who you are is beautiful and your feelings are completely valid. So I think just being gentle with yourself through the process is also so important. Like, oh, it's been 6 months since we broke up. Why am I not over it? And it's like, relax. There's no time frame when it comes to any of these things. There's no, oh, here's a pill, you're over the relationship. There's no quick fix to this. This is something that will take time, and it will take a lot of healing and a lot of growing pains. But just know that time does heal. Time does heal. It may not entirely heal a wound. It may, depending on the situation. I would really hope that at some point you're able to at least let go of the previous relationship that you were in. But I can't sit here and tell you like in a month from now you will be completely healed. That's not how that works. But I also think it's important to know that you're okay, and you're going to be okay. You were okay before them, and you will be even better after them. And I think that these are opportunities for you to grow and to accept things for what they are. Again, easier said than done, but it's not impossible. If I've been able to do it, you are also able to do it. So spend some time loving yourself, because you are entirely lovable. And if you ever dated somebody who made you feel shitty for the way that you physically look, I highly, highly recommend like sitting in front of a mirror, get naked in front of a mirror, and tell yourself that you love yourself. And it may sound like so weird. It may sound so crazy, but over time with you doing it, you will start to believe the things that you say, that you are beautiful, that you have beautiful long hair, that you have nice soft skin. You will start to believe these things. But it's about rewiring your brain, because whenever you start to believe what other people project onto you, then your brain sees that as true. So now it's about rewiring your brain as to what you want it to believe, because these things are true. You are beautiful, you are strong, you are resilient, and it's just about you believing that for yourself. So if you are going through a breakup, I wish you all of the healing, all the love, and all of the happiness in the world, and know that you are going to be okay. And yeah, I didn't know where this episode was going to take me. I think breakups suck, but I think that there is a lot to learn from them. So hope you have a beautiful day. Know that you are loved, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye.